Okay. Citizens' comments or concerns. The meeting is open. Jim, anything? Okay. Um, Let's approve the November minutes. Ben's really good minutes. Anybody have any corrections? Okay. Then can I hear a motion to approve?
I move to.
Okay. Second?
I'll second.
Okay. Okay, all in favor, put your hands up.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Couple of updates. EV chargers. We're waiting right now to try to see if we can find any other contractors who would be willing to give us another bid. So far, we have not had any responses. I've been putting out the call on the Drive Electric Vermont has certified contractors, and you can go through a process and invite them to contact you. Nobody has. The select board thought it might be good, even though we have a first-class presentation from Norwich EV, they thought it would be possibly a good thing to see if we can find another bid. I'm going to get back to them at the next meeting and suggest that we're not able to do that. There was also some discussion among the select board that because the amount that we're spending is so low, it's only a few $1,000s, that we might not need to go through the bid process. So we'll see what happens. So everything's ready to go if we can just get through that little roadblock with the select board. If they get comfortable with submitting that bid, then we'll do that. Update on the MERP, Municipal Energy Resiliency Program. Today was the day when the engineers came and architects to assess our 3 buildings. Sally was here a good bit of the time. We started at 8 o'clock this morning at the library and finished up around 5 o'clock here at Holly Hall. And it involved blower door tests and then detailed inspections of the heating systems, infrared camera, travels through all the buildings, all the spaces, up and down. And then what's going to happen is the engineering group, and this is Du Bois and King, is the group in charge of this. They will give us a report with cost estimates of recommendations for the 3 buildings. We're expecting that sometime after the first of the year. And then it will be up to the select board to decide what of those projects they're going to approve. And we'll have to have a contractor or 2 ready. We'll have to see if it needs to go through bids to do this stuff, be willing to do it for the cost estimate that is given. We send that back to the Vermont Department of Buildings and General Services, and they review it. And ideally, what happens, I think, by the end of 2024 is that they have to spend the money. And so they will give the town a check to cover the expenses. And as you know, this is coming from ARPA funds. And so there are definite time limits on when things have to be spent. So it's an ongoing process. We definitely found things that needed to be dealt with in each of the buildings. And the question will be, bang for the buck. And we have potentially $500,000 that could be awarded under the ARPA funds. There's also additional monies available under certain conditions for certain things. So since we're doing level 2 assessments, which is, the full Monty with blower doors and all that stuff, we will qualify to pursue other funding opportunities. If we were doing level 1s, that wouldn't be the case. So any questions on either one of these? Sally, anything?
Yeah, I thought that they were two different groups there, but are you saying Du Bois and King, they're both John and the other three are all under Du Bois and King? Or John is a different person, a whole different company?
John is a different company working for Du Bois and King.
Okay,
He's doing the blower door and infrared and so on, and reporting to them.
yeah, okay,
So they're the general contractor.
okay.
Did they do any assessments of the lighting fixtures?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, they were really thorough. They looked at everything. And, in 3 hours with 4 people, you can look at a lot of stuff. And like, for example, in this room, we have fluorescents. So, and they took one apart in order to see it's 3 bulb fluorescence. So, and they did that in every building. They looked at the can lights and all the fixtures to try to determine what was there. They spent a lot of time in the furnace rooms, apparently trying to determine efficiencies, but also the idea is, if at all possible, to reduce or eliminate fossil fuel use. And so where possible, alternative, as Nick, from the head architect from Du Bois and King, said, heat pumps or high efficiency high efficiency wood pellet boilers would be possible recommendations. Sally and I we're not all that thrilled about the high efficiency wood pellets, and I don't think they'd work in these buildings, frankly, but we'll have to see what the recommendations are. Anybody else?
So what is the next step after this day of review and such? You get a report?
Yeah, we'll get a report soon after the first of the year. And then we'll be working pretty steadily through this thing with Madison Shropshire from Addison County Regional Planning Commission. And I will say I was happy to note that we're one of the earliest MERP assessments in Addison County. So that was nice to know, and whatever that means.
And what John pointed out too, not John, Nick pointed out is, but we weren't the real earliest, the very, very earliest. So they'd had some good practice before they actually got to us.
That's right. Yeah.
So he said, you're right in the perfect spot. We're warmed up and now you're in early.
Yep. Yep, they've been assessing in other counties where there are higher energy burden rates, some of the poorer counties. Okay, Sally, I didn't get it on this agenda, but do you want to talk about the Drive Electric situation?
I don't know if I know what the Drive Electric situation is.
You've been communicating regarding hosting some kind of a Zoom meeting.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying with yes. So obviously this fall we didn't end up having an electric vehicle demonstration and kind of thing, but we're not scheduled, but we're planning to do it in the spring. And that's just something we talk about in the spring with GMP and Drive Electric. Usually I've gone through GMP to talk about it. It's usually the GMP folks who come and bring electric vehicles.
Right.
But both of them would be good to have involved. I expect that will happen, but we'll wait until it gets a little more into the winter till I talk with them more about it.
Okay. Okay, Carl isn't with us, so I guess we'll have to kind of table the geothermal system for Bristol schools to the next meeting. January 20th, Addison County Regional Energy Committees meeting at Holly Hall. This is something that we talked about in the Addison County Regional Planning Committee, Energy Committee. different group. To get all of the energy committees in Addison County together for a meeting. And we scheduled it for January 20th at Holly Hall. We're working now on an agenda for that meeting and some speakers to come, but if you have any ideas of things that you think energy committees could benefit from knowing, or any speakers, agencies, let me know. We'll be having an energy committee meeting, Addison Regional Planning Energy Committee meeting early in the year to kind of firm this up. I don't know if anything comes to mind now or not. No? Yeah, there's so many things right now. I think that one of the issues is certainly going to be a summary of the programs that are available right now that energy committees ought to be paying attention to. There's also a new statewide enhanced energy plan coming out. And so some of the towns that don't have energy plans are going to be, enhanced energy plans are going to be working on that. I don't know where we stand since we do have an enhanced energy plan. But what Madison is hoping to come up with are some new dashboards. We are also working in the planning committee, energy committee, the sharing of the new targets for energy reductions across the state. And we've come up in our recommendation that a combination of land area and population and income level be three factors that will determine, once they are computed for each town, there will be a percent figure of the Addison County energy savings that the state is expecting by, I don't remember if it's 2030 or what it is. Our first run through, or Madison's first run through, brought Bristol's share of that to around 10%, 10 or 11% of, because of our population. So Middlebury would have the highest load, then Virgins, then Bristol, as it turns out, and then the smaller towns down in the 4 or 5% level. And so then the next question becomes, okay, how do we do that? And that's something that's going to be worked on. So you've seen the dashboards in the past where there's a list of things, thermal, for example. Okay, try to encourage the use of more heat pumps in your town. transportation, have, our EV fare and try to encourage more people to buy EVs, that kind of thing. One of the things I'm not clear on is we've got a great big solar field going next door, 2.2 megawatt. Are we gonna get credit for that?
Uh,
And,
Yeah.
and I'm wondering, so we'll have to, it's all gonna be very interesting.
I think that it would be interesting. I don't know if you've talked about this with Maddie, Richard, that and I saw this in some article just today. We talk about the different technological gadgets and things. What about simply conserving and things like that? We're not really talking about that. And we're also not talking about how much stuff we buy from out of state that doesn't really get counted. So I don't know, there's lots of ways of figuring out how to rate things or add up things or that kind of thing. And it's like,
Okay.
are we trying to reduce greenhouse gases? Is that basically the end thing? So to reduce greenhouse gases, is it something we're doing or making here, or is it something we're not doing here? And, that kind of thing that would cause less greenhouse gases.
Well, certainly your thought about buy local, I haven't heard anybody talk about in this regard,
Yeah.
except in terms of fossil fuels.
Right.
That all of our spending on that, so much of it goes out of state.
Yeah. And they were talking on this, whatever this was I read today. It was about, how much people buy at all these, Amazon and have it delivered and all this stuff. And it's just like a lot of greenhouse gases are mixed in with that. How do we count that? I think it would be good. And I think it was actually a sort of a criticism of, it was an article now that I'm remembering. It's Ross Conrad emailed it to me. And it was a kind of a criticism about the Environmental Action Network and that group who put out this thing that says, hey, we're doing this in Vermont. This is how much we've done. This is where we're at. And this article kind of looked at it and said, you're not counting so much. You're making it sound so green, but not so green. So anyway, I could send that around.
Yeah, that'd be good. And those are good points. And I think I go back to the fact that I think we've waited too long and now we're trying to do everything all at once. And that's very difficult. So,
Yeah, it
but
takes time to change our habits.
and we don't have time.
Right.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so I've jotted a couple things down and we'll continue. I was talking at one of the, when I testified for one of the working groups, I was suggesting that there be a notebook, I guess, available to energy committees that we could keep and get periodic inserts on various programs. Right now, things come out on email, and it's very hard to grab them and to be able to really work on them. It's almost, well, if this catches my attention, I'll look it up. But there are a lot of programs right now, financial incentives, rebates, and other things that could apply to towns, not just energy, but a lot of things. And yet, I think we pass them by. And Joey Miller was particularly interested in that idea, so we'll see if we could encourage something like that. And I think periodic updates for all the Addison County Energy Committees would be really useful.
Yeah.
So David, I
This is,
don't,
can I just ask one thing
Yeah.
about this? Is there something I saw on the Regional Planning Energy Committee? It looked like there was a thought of getting some sort of a program coordinator for the
Yes.
area for energy things. So that would be something, maybe certainly one of those notebooks would be really good for that person. Or maybe they would even create it.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, there's a great possibility that Madison is working on to, the one that she's working on is to hire essentially a research and grant writer position, particularly for the small towns. You know, you look at the smaller towns in Vermont with populations of, 300 people, they can't afford even a part-time grant writer. And so this person would be available to seek out grants and assist towns. I don't think I've heard about an energy coordinator. I'm wondering if that's a SEAC project.
I think I read about it in Maddie's notes from
Was it in her notes?
a
I'll have to look.
recent meeting. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look. I have them. Frank, I don't know you. Would
David, you mean?
I mean, David. Yeah, David. Sorry.
Hi, I hope I'm not an interloper because I thought it was a public meeting, but
Yeah, it is.
Oh, definitely.
It is.
oh, okay.
Yeah, we're glad to see you here.
Yeah.
I spoke to Sally a while ago about potentially joining the Energy Committee, so I thought I should attend a meeting or two beforehand. So I actually was at the actually at Holly Hall, but I couldn't figure out how to get in because the door seemed to be locked. So I decided to get on Zoom.
Oh, okay. I wonder if we
time to get back.
Yeah, we didn't unlock the door. That helps. It's been a very long day, I tell you.
That's all right. That's all right.
So tell us a little bit about you. What brings you to thinking about you want to join the Energy Committee?
Well, I'm an architect. Just until recently was working at a firm in Boston. I have a sort of a keen interest in, sustainability and, carbon drawdown. And I thought, why not look more locally and see how I can affect that change, in the way we do things. And so
Cool.
I thought that the Energy Committee would be a good, place to look for that. So, and I really have to say, it's very interesting hearing all the different pathways you guys are approaching things like electric vehicles. It sounds like potential envelope improvements at Holly Hall and some of the other buildings in town. And so anyway, I thought it'd be an interesting group to investigate.
Well, I think you're right on. Would you fill out one of the town applications for committee membership? And then we can, as a committee, I'm sure that we will be very interested in having you join, but there's that process of filling out this little one-page form.
Yeah.
And then you'll go before the select board and they will grill you for about a minute. But I'm sure you'll qualify and
Be kind.
Grilling is not exactly how it goes, David. I wouldn't. Don't be
No, I
confused.
think there was two questions. Why do you want to do this and what are your qualifications?
Yeah.
I think those are the two questions.
And you've
Right.
answered both very well so far today. So
As far as I'm concerned, yeah, I'm sure we would welcome your as membership on the committee. So if you do that, we'll check on getting you into a town meeting agenda after the first of the year and welcome you.
Okay. I think
That'd be great.
yeah, sure.
David,
after-
is there anything else you want to know about the committee to see if you're interested? Did you want to learn anything more than just what you heard here?
Let's see. So, any questions I have? So, are there aside of the meetings that are posted sort of on the town website? Are there other meetings going on? Is there other work that is going on behind the scenes that the committee is doing? I assume it sounds like there is, since like today was the energy audit or whatever it was at the town. You guys were involved in that.
I think what happens, and anybody can add to this, we sort of take on tasks individually and report back. So Sally's been early on was really heavily involved in the Bristol Community Solar Project and really worked on that kind of as a member of the Energy Committee, but she did an incredible amounts of work. I've been working hard on EV chargers for the town and on this MERP thing. And so what happens is, as individuals, we report to the committee, but we pursue these things through the select board. And, you know, I filled out the grant forms and all that kind of stuff. And I think having your expertise and extra horsepower will really be great, because there's a lot we don't do because we just don't have time. Yeah, so you'll really need it. Okay.
No pressure.
Anybody have any? After the select board confirms you, we have an initiation procedure that many people just are in horror of, but it's not too bad.
He is totally
I don't
making that
remember.
up.
I didn't have any initiation procedure.
didn't
What is
either.
it?
Neither did I.
We missed you. Well, maybe we'll do it too.
Maybe
You do a group.
Yeah. It
I
has
think
to
it's
do
called
with being,
hazing.
it has to do with being barefoot.
Oh,
No.
we're off the
Anyway.
rails now.
Richard has had a really long day.
Yeah, Richard
and I
needs to
think-
go home, I think, and relax tonight.
Well, Jim is our witness here.
Right.
Okay, does anybody have anything else for the good of the cause? Okay, then I think we could conclude the meeting and wish everybody happy holiday. And we'll be
That's
back,
great.
back at work in January next year. See you next year.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
I'll mail out the notes here shortly.
Okay,
And you,
great.
yeah, thank you for doing all the facilitating, Richard, after a long, long day.
The hardest part was getting the damn computer to work. I'm a Mac person, and this is a cursed Microsoft product, so. Okay, good night,
Good
everybody.
night, everybody. Take care.
Good night. Thanks
you.
for coming in, David.
Okay.